So class, we start with page 84. So this one, subtopic 4.2, body defense. So on our previous class, we learned about 3 line of body defense, right? So first one is skin, second white blood cell, number 3 about antibody. So here is about importance of immunization. So number 1, okay, we have word immune here. Actually, this word come from word immunity. So what is immunity? What is immune? This one is all about ability of body system to resist pathogens or to kill the pathogens, right? To destroy the pathogens before we fall sick, sebelum kita jatuh sakit. So to increase the immunity, alright, so we have one process here, immunization. So what is immunization? Okay, so immunization is effort to stimulate the body defense, to increase, to strengthen the body defense, untuk kuatkan ketahanan badan against infection, against pathogens. Alright, so this immunization is effort by the government, by the doctors, to stimulate the body defense of babies, children, and also adults by injecting the vaccine. Alright, so here we have words vaccine. Alright, so what is vaccine? Later on, cikgu akan explain. Alright, so we have one question here. Is vaccine safe? Vaccination safe? The answer is yes, right? So vaccine is used by our KKM, Ministry of Health Malaysia, okay, evaluated according to international standards. So nothing to worry. Vaccine is actually safe to the body. Alright. So wait, let's see. Okay, so kiru kata is kalai. Right. So now kita ada about 14 student. Right. Okay, we continue. So anything that important, maybe awak sudah ada pencil, you can simply catat dekat your textbook ataupun your buku nota. Right. So we continue. So vaccine. Alright, what is vaccine? Vaccine contain antigen inside the vaccine. So what is antigen? So everyone, please line this word, please underline this word, antigens. So this antigen we already learned in this page. What is antigen? Antigen is something from the pathogens or toxic molecule or blood cells. So antigen is the foreign substance that comes from outside of the body. So antigen adalah substance that coming from outside of the body, not from our body. So antigens, example, pathogens, toxic molecule or blood cell. So inside the vaccine, this vaccine contain part or core structure of weakened or dead virus or bacterium. So inside the vaccine contain dead virus or dead bacteria or weakened virus or weakened bacteria. So inside the vaccine kita ada bakteria virus yang telah dilemahkan ataupun yang telah dimatikan. So tak bahaya, not harmful to our body because the virus, the vaccine is actually weakened or dead. Okay, so here maybe everybody will be asking why that virus and bacteria is injected into body of baby, body of kids and adult. Actually, once this vaccine or that virus or bacteria is injecting into our body, our blood, white blood cell will automatically produce antibody once dia identify the antigens. So dia tulis dekat sini, antibody is produced in response to the antigens. So maksudnya, this vaccine is injected into the body before we fall sick, before our body infected by the certain bacteria. Okay, cikgu give one example, right? So this one is vaccination schedule in Malaysia. Jadual vaksinasi jadual bila bayi disuntik. Okay, bila babies is injected by certain vaccine. Alright, we start with the first one. 0 means the first month, maybe few days after you dilahirkan, babies akan dibawa ke klinik to get the first dose, right? So this one is first month, second, third. Okay, bulan kelima, 6, 9, 18 bulan, 7 tahun, kita ada certain vaksin yang akan disuntik. Kita ambil example yang pertama, for example BCG. Okay, this one is example of immunization. Okay, so BCG is actually Bacillus calmette-guerin BCG. Vaccine give protection against TB, tuberculosis. Alright, so TB ni is one disease relates with our lung. So dia got babies disuntik BCG, inject with the BCG vaccine, so that the lungs, the body, the whole body babies will be protected against TB. Maksudnya di sini, that baby is not infected by the TB, but this one as a prevention, sebagai langkah kawalan. Maksudnya bila disuntik with the BCG, with the virus TB, the body will be produce antibody against TB. So if example, got somebody in the family is infected by the TB, that baby is already protect against the TB virus. Okay, so vaccine is injected into the body so that the white blood cell will produce antibody against TB. So the antigen inside the vaccine will stimulate the body immune system, forming immunity against certain infection. So depends on what types of vaccine given. So the antibody will be produced against that certain bacteria or virus. Okay, so cikgu nak ulang balik dekat mana? Dekat sini. So we have mana? TB for example. Alright, tak ada kat sini. Sekejap. Alright, so dekat sini we have two mechanisms of body defense. First one, non-specific. This one is general. Alright, so we look at the specific body defense. Specific body defense means certain kind of antibody is actually produced for certain types of virus or bacteria. For example here, kita lihat example. If the first month the baby is injected with the vaccine BCG to protect against TB. Okay, for example, this one is weakened TB or dead TB is injected into the body. The antibody will be released to fight against this pathogen, for example, TB. So maybe because this one is weakened and dead pathogen TB, so nothing will be harmful. Dia tak akan membahayakan baby tu. So this antibody will be produced and will be remains in the body to help protect against next TB. Okay, so this one ditulis dekat sini. The antigen stimulate the body. The antigen from the vaccine will stimulate the body immune system, forming immunity against certain infections. So until this topic 84, until this page about vaccine, ada tak apa-apa soalan? Okay, everyone, apa-apa yang tak faham about vaccine, boleh tanya dekat chat box dekat sini. Ataupun maybe tak clear suara cikgu, boleh inform cikgu dekat chat box dekat sini. Ada tak apa-apa masalah, soalan? Ada? Anyone? Okay, ada soalan tak? Tak. Arish. What is immunization HPV? Okay. If we look at the schedule, we have HPV here. Okay. HPV is human papilloma virus. So this one is given to the girls, to the women. Okay. This one is to protect daripada kanser rahim, cervix cancer. So disebabkan man doesn't have cervix, so cervix tu adalah cervix lah parts of human female organs. So HPV is given only for girls, for women. Okay, nak lawan dari kena penyakit kanser rahim. So ada lagi soalan? Okay, Sasi, if there only specific vaccine for a specific person, specific vaccine, everyone can get any vaccine yang dia nak to protect against certain disease. So depends on that person. For example, previous month sebelum kita cuti sekolah, we have H1N5, one types of the influenza. So actually not everyone is protected against influenza H1N5. So if you nak that vaccine, you need to go to the clinic dan beli. So cikgu rasa for H1N5, that vaccine cost about 100 something. Cikgu, vaksin ada banyak jenis ke? Yes. Cikgu pula dah. Vaksin ada banyak jenis. Sebab we have many types of pathogens, we have many types of disease, so we have many types of vaccine. So cikgu ada satu soalan. Okay, Kiru kata kalai. Alright. Do we have vaccine for COVID-19? Okay. Do we have already vaccine for coronavirus to fight against coronavirus? Okay, yes. Yes, Faiz and Kashwin. We doesn't have vaccine to fight against coronavirus. Dan vaccine tu, the scientists and doctors are still study how to how to produce the vaccine to fight coronavirus. So sampai sekarang kita masih belum ada vaksin for coronavirus. Alright, kita continue. Alright, so dekat jadual ni adalah vaccination schedule for babies and kids, for babies, kids and also adults. So kalau you see dekat awak punya tangan ada tanda yang awak telah diinject by certain vaccine. So kenapa our parents benarkan kita to take the vaccine? Because kita punya parents sayang kita, nak protect kita against penyakit yang sangat bahaya dekat sini. So the one that injected into our body, apa yang ada inside the vaccine is actually certain virus, certain bacteria that already dead, that already weaken, so that the antibody will recognize the bacteria and virus and produce the antibody against certain disease as the preparations. Alright, so here we have few types of vaccine. We have DTAP here. We have 3 dose. And bila kita umur 80 years old, one booster will be injected into your body. So what is booster? So dia mention here, alright, we have booster dose to give extra protection, alright, against certain bacteria and also virus. So Measles and Gigih given at certain state. For example, here Sabah and Gigih for Sarawak. Why? Because tahun-tahun yang sebelum ni, these 2 disease only affected at Sabah and Sarawak only. So dekat sana the babies will be injected with Measles and also Gigih. Okay, so this vaccine is only given in Sarawak because Japanese encephalitis ni previously dia menyerang masyarakat di Sarawak. Okay, so kita, sekejap cikgu check dekat sini. Okay, cikgu kalau dah suntik tapi tak ada tanda, itu maksudnya tak kena suntik lagi ke? Kalau dah suntik tak ada tanda? Biasanya mark tu depends pada your skin. Certain orang takkan ada tanda, setengah orang ada tanda. Okay. Alright, continue. Alright, yang penting sebenarnya dekat sini, dekat jadual ni, ni yang last notes yang kita akan study. Alright, so immunity, we have 2 types of immunity. One is passive, one is active immunity. And then these both immunities have naturally, another one is artificially. Naturally semula jadi, artificially is buatan. Alright, so we start now. So how to differentiate between passive and active? Passive and active. Alright, passive coming from outside of the body. Antibody comes from external sources. So both is about antibody. One antibody is not produced from the body. One is antibody is injected or antibody coming from the outside. Alright, so everyone please underline this one. Antibody from external sources. This one produce its own antibody. So this is the difference. For passive, antibody coming from outside. For active, we produce our own antibody. Cikgu ulang Passive, kita tak hasilkan antibody sendiri, antibody datang dari luar. For active, we produce our own antibody. Okay? Alright. So, we start with the passive antibody from outside of the body, not produced on itself. So, passive, we have 2 types, natural and artificial. So, okay, siapa tu? Okay. Alright, so passive for baby. This one is for baby. Baby. Alright, for example, this baby, this passive immunity for the natural one is obtained when a baby receives antibody from breast milk or from the mother's blood that flows across the placenta. Okay, this one is about baby. It's either baby that already dilahirkan or the baby still inside the mothers, right? So kalau baby tu dah dilahirkan, that baby will get the antibody from the milk, daripada susu ibu, from the mother's milk. If the baby still not given birth, still in the body, that baby will get the antibodies from the mother's blood. So this baby is actually obtained, receive the antibody from mother. So we consider this one as natural passive immunity. Okay, this one is natural because get from the direct from mother's milk and blood. So why passive? Because baby this time doesn't produce their own antibody. Baby get the antibody from mother's milk and mother's blood. So what is placenta? Kalau kita still remember, placenta is one structure that connect the body of baby and mothers. So placenta ni yang give the oxygen, give the nutrients, give the antibody, give the foods to the baby from mother. Okay. So cikgu ulang, baby receive antibody from mother. It's either from milk or from blood. So another one, this immunity is temporary. Okay, short life, lasts for a few months after birth of the baby. So why baby needs to keep drink the milk to get the antibody. Alright. So dia punya effect is actually fast. Alright. Okay, kalau we see at this graph, parallel y-axis is the concentration of antibody, the percentage of the antibody in the blood of this baby, right? This one is time. So for the second week or the first week, given the antibody will be increased. Okay, and this antibody is not last for a long time. This antibody will be decreased. Alright, so this one is passive immunity given by the mother to the baby. Okay, so once given with the antibody will reach the immunity level, where once reach this immunity level, the body will be protected against the disease, against the infection. So maksudnya in this condition, this baby tak akan jatuh sakit. Maksudnya selamat lah, as long as that baby keep feed on the mother's milk, right? So number 2, we have artificial. This one is naturally semula jadi, this one is artificial. So how we can get the passive immunity, how we can get the antibody. Number 1, the antibody is obtained when an anti-serum is injected into the patient's body. So this anti-serum is substance that can fight against pathogen without interrupting the patient immune system. So what is anti-serum? So anti-serum is a clear liquid in the blood contain antibody to prevent disease. So for the certain disease, we have anti-serum to fight certain disease. Alright, so if the anti-serum is injected into the body, you see the antibody is increased and reach the immunity level very fast because what is injected in the body is actually antibody. So kalau awak tertanya-tanya what is anti-serum, so anti-serum dia punya gambar macam ni. So inside here we have antibody for the certain disease. For example, we have here rabies anti-serum. So inside here is antibody to fight rabies. So we have many types of anti-serum for certain disease. So what is different between vaccine and anti-serum? If injected vaccine into the body need to produce the antibody for that disease. But difference beza with the anti-serum. Anti-serum, what is injected into the body is actually antibody. So inside anti-serum, we have antibodies. Alright? So inside the anti-serum is antibody. So the body doesn't have to produce the antibodies because injected in the body is antibody. So these types of antibody can straightly fight the disease, can straightly fight the pathogen. So we take the example tadi, rabies antibody. So kalau this person sudah kena rabies, the doctor will inject the anti-serum. Because kalau we inject vaccine is to protect. Maksudnya belum kena. This one anti-serum, kita dah diagnose with the rabies, so how to cure? We inject the anti-serum. But we must make sure that anti-serum is anti-serum for rabies, right? So anti-serum for rabies means this antibody will be fight against rabies. Okay. For passive immunity, any question? Ada soalan tak? Okay. Any question yang awak tak faham about anti-serum? Just to make this one more clear, inside anti-serum is actually antibody. So that our body doesn't need to produce the antibody because directly kita inject dalam badan adalah antibody. So that antibody will fight direct against rabies. Kalau suddenly awak kena penyakit TB, so kita suntik anti-serum to fight TB. Alright. So kita continue. So cikgu ulang to make this one more clear. Passive immunity because the antibody coming from outside of the body. That body itself doesn't need to produce their own antibody. So baby get from the breast milk from mother and the fetus get from the mother's blood, alright? So the effect is fast but temporary. Cepat tapi sekejap dia akan decrease, dia akan berkurang. For artificial, something yang injected into the body, okay, the anti-serum we have many types with different antibody to fight with the different disease, to fight against different disease. Kalau awak diagnosed with rabies, penyakit rabies for example, anti-serums contains rabies antibodies will be injected. Okay, first anti-serum injected into your body, the antibody will be increased and dia akan fight the disease. But dia akan turun, maksudnya dia akan habis, dia akan dikeluarkan dari badan. That's why we need second anti-serum injection. So your antibody will be increased, reach the immunity level to fight the disease, right? So now about active immunity. So this one is time when when the body will produce their own antibody. Okay, so the body will produce antibody when stimulated by antigen. What is stimulated? When they are antigens, when suddenly antigens enter our body, the white blood cell we identify and produce the antibody. So we have natural, we also have artificial. So natural is something that naturally happen inside the body. For example, occur when a person recovers from an infection. For example, so kita tengok into the graph, we have two line here. This one yang thick line is the first infection. Second yang dot ni is the second infection. So we see the first infection. Alright. So once the pathogen get into the body, the antibody will be produced. But kalau kita lihat dekat sini, the antibody production is very slow and terlalu sedikit. Alright. A few antibody is produced and this one is very slow process. During the first infection, the antibody produced is at a low level, a few, sangat sikit, and does not achieve the immunity level. So if you can see the lines here, for the first infection, antibody produced very few and doesn't reach the immunity level. So this one, for the first infection, awak mungkin jatuh sakit because the antibody is not enough to fight against that disease. So for the first infection, you will fall sick, but because of these pathogens, our body already recognized. Kalau awak kena second time infection, the antibody produced will actually exceeds the immunity level and immunity is achieved. So for the second infection, since your body already recognize that pathogens, already recognize, the antibody will be produced sangat cepat dan banyak. So this time, antibody akan dihasilkan lebih banyak untuk fight the same disease. Alright. So this one is natural. The immunity lasts long after the infection. So the immunity, the antibody will remains in the body for a long time. So that's why kalau awak kena chicken pox for the first time, untuk second time, possibility for you to get the chicken pox is very low. Because why? You already have antibody inside your body to fight for the disease yang awak pernah kena. So, for the artificial, occurs when a vaccine that contains a dead or weakened pathogen is injected into the body. The immune system responds by producing the antibody. So, once the vaccine is injected, the body will produce the antibody. Alright, so ini when we vaccine is before you get the disease. So, the antibody will be produced. So, first vaccine, the antibody is produced, but the antibody level will decrease time by time. So, we have second vaccine injection. So, the antibody will be increased and reach the immunity level. So, the antibody will remains in the body for a long time. Okay, so this one is as protection. So dalam badan kita, because we be injected by many types of vaccine, our body is actually protected by certain disease because kita dah ada certain antibodies for certain pathogens. So beza with babies yang tak di vaksin, babies tu is actually exposed to many harmful pathogen yang ada dekat luar. So, cikgu buat conclusions. Alright. Kalau you see the patterns for the graph line, for passive, the antibody increase very fast. Dia meningkat sangat cepat. Tapi see the pattern, dia akan slow down, dia akan decrease juga sangat cepat. Alright, for the active immunity, this one remains for a long time in the body. Okay, dia takes time to produce, the antibody, but the antibody will remains in the body for a long time. For the first infection, the antibody is not produced enoughly. So maybe for the first time, awak mungkin jatuh sakit. So for the second times, body already prepared for that certain pathogen. Sama juga with the vaccine. So vaccine akan menyebabkan body kita bersedia for the certain disease. So dia punya production of antibody very slow, but actually dia akan berada dalam badan lebih lama. Okay. Alright. So kita belajar sampai di sini sahaja. Soalan. Thank you. Ada soalan tak? Anything yang awak tak faham? No. Because topik ni is new for everyone. So kalau awak ada tak faham, awak boleh search dekat YouTube. Okay. Contoh awak search about immunisation video, awak boleh lihat a lot and awak boleh faham lebih. Okay, cikgu ambil example yang pertama.
Immunisation is a simple and effective way to help protect children and adults against serious diseases. By immunising your child, you give them the best start to a healthy future and you protect your community by reducing the spread of disease.
Okay. Because this one going to take time, awak boleh buat awak punya study sendiri dekat YouTube. Cikgu, saya ada soalan Firdaus. Ryan, kita akan dapat lagi TB kalau vaccinations? Okay. Baby injected with the TB vaccination. So dia akan protect for a time for the TB. Tapi bila kita keep old, the vaccine, the antibody produced by the body to lawan, to fight against TB will be decreased. So possibility untuk kita dapat TB, for example cikgu, ada. Okay, maksudnya last time we been vaccine with TB, for example, ni is first vaccine waktu kita baby dulu. So possibility untuk kita dapat TB pada umur sekarang ada. Okay, so TB ni kita suntik pada waktu baby untuk protect the babies during the growing time, sebab dia nak kuatkan paru-paru supaya tak diserang oleh penyakit TB. So sekarang kita ada kemungkinan untuk dapat jangkitan TB kalau ada dalam family kita kena penyakit TB. So teacher, is active immunity is more durable than passive immunity? Okay, okay, kalau in terms of time, active immunity is good for certain disease. Kalau for example, kalau durable kalau for example awak not yet infected by influenza H1N5, awak akan kena for the first time. So durable, dia akan protect you for the second time of that types of fever. So kalau passive if bila you dah kena, you be injected by the anti-serum. Okay. Yang mana satu lebih baik? Dia tak ada lebih baik atau tak. Dia macam kalau awak jatuh sakit, kita ada banyak ubat, ada banyak vaksin untuk kita suntik. Atau vaksin is injected before kita kena sesuatu penyakit. Vaksin is injected before we diagnose with certain disease. So vaccine is actually for protections against certain disease. For example, COVID-19. Kalau one day we have vaccine for COVID-19, so everyone need to take that vaccine before you infected by the COVID-19 virus. So which one is better? Both is better. Both is for our own sake, for our body. So soalan lagi. Okay, so kalau awak not so clear with today's lesson, cikgu nak everyone lihat buku nota lain dan lihat YouTube channel. Okay, so cikgu ucapkan terima kasih sebab join kelas pada pagi ini. Alright, so semua orang kena buat exercise yang cikgu dah share dekat groups. Okay, terima kasih semua. Bye-bye.